I'm here with Alex Phillips. He's the president of WISPA, the Wireless Internet Service Providers Association. And Alex, I think you had a meeting here at Mountain Connect yesterday. Tell me a little bit about it and about WISPA and what you guys got coming up, what things you're working on in DC and so forth.
Well, we had our state meeting for the state of Colorado yesterday, and I just did a little update about what's going on at WISPA, and Brian Young, who's one of our directors, also talked a little bit about what's going on with the legislative side. And we talked a little bit about what's going on the FCC side. We've got a lot of irons in the fire there. Some of the bigger ticket items that we're working on are the 3550 band, which is the SAS.
The CBRS band?
Yeah, the CBRS band. I call it the SAS because that's what we're working on primarily, is the database system that's going to allow the CBRSs to communicate and people to use them. And WISPA is primarily focused within the group of Wind Forum on the rural side of it. You know, what our industry folks are going to want to do.
The CBRS band seems to be the best opportunity for small providers and rural providers to get access to licensed spectrum that has ever come along. Is it not?
Well, yeah, so it's new spectrum, 75 megahertz of new spectrum, and then the other 75 is the 3650 band, so it'll be combined as 150 megahertz. But it's really going to allow an operator a lower cost entry to good spectrum, and as their business model grows, they can go to a license model. So they'll have a license light type coordinated signal coming off of the SAS now, where they can use spectrum if it's not being used, or they can use the general access authorized spectrum in the upper part of the band. But then as their business model grows and they really need to protect their assets and want to secure that spectrum for their own, they can go through the process and getting it either through an auction or whatever the FCC finally determines is the process, which they're still working out.
So I've been involved with the WISP industry since 1997 and part of WISPA a long time now. I fell in love with the WISP industry a long time ago. Tell us where the WISP industry is going today and what CBRS band will do for them.
Well, the concept of database access of spectrum, using spectrum more efficiently, I think is going to be the blueprint for the future. So we saw a little bit about it, a database with white spaces. What we're doing with the CBRS and the SAS is almost 100 times more complicated, but a much more efficient as far as utilization of spectrum and coordination, that we've just never had that before. And so I see us adding or having the FCC add more spectrum onto this. So when we were in DC a couple of months ago, there was discussion about the spectrum just north of the CBRS, 3700 and up, and how that would be allocated, and there's no reason why that shouldn't be controlled by the same mechanism. So any government primarily used spectrum, 4.9, 3.7, any of the bands that are not always used all the time, all over the country, could be allocated to be used in this system.
So it's spectrum sharing.
Yeah. So
it's coordinated with the database.
So I really think this is going to be the future of.
I do too.
A lot of our members would like, for them to just get unlicensed spectrum, no strings attached, and that would be nice. And I wish we could do that. But the reality is that there's less spectrum available, and more people wanting to use it. And so the key is making it available to those who can use it, and make it efficiently available to those who want to share it with others.
So WISPA is primarily wireless internet service providers, but I also know that a lot of them are deploying fiber now as well.
Right. So at our show, WISPA Palooza, that we have in October at the Rio in Las Vegas, we have the weekend prior to it called Fiber Weekend, and that's sort of like an intense 2 days of learning about fiber, head first, so to speak. Our members want to use fiber for various things. So Some of them are considering fiber to the home off their networks in areas where they have network close enough to leverage. Chuck Hogg has been one of our pioneers in that endeavor. Some want to look at fiber as a way to just get network to their towers on their own without having to pay somebody else for that delivery. And then some are just looking at fiber actually on the tower. And so just the whole mechanics of that and what's involved in being able to get yourself a reel of fiber and cutting it and putting ends on it, and those types of things are a little new for a lot of folks. So we're trying to cover all those bases at our show. And then when you go into the WISPALOOZA show, it's really now a little bit more fiber than it used to be. So it's
So why should an ISP, a wireless ISP or a fiber ISP, why should they join WISPA?
Well, I think that the sharing of information on our membership list is probably the biggest value right off the bat. So you're new, you show up, you get on that list, and you are able to access information from folks that have been there and done that. But then I think when we're going to deal with regulatory issues and compliancy issues and things that really affect our members' business line, bottom line, in the ways that they haven't affected them in the past, we're out there sort of fighting their fight. So we're representing small business in many cases. Some of those small businesses are getting a little bit bigger, and that's good. But we still represent them, no matter how big they get. And we're really their voice in DC. So we talk to the FCC, we talk to the USDA, we talk to Congress, and we really, represent them.
Well, let's bring this lurker guy over here into the picture. Why don't you introduce this gentleman, Alex?
This is Steve Coran. He is WISPA's DC counsel. He works for a company in DC called Lerman Senter, and he's been helping us out for decades, I believe.
It only seems like decades. It's been about 8 years. 8 wonderful years.
Yeah.
So he's telling me a little bit about CBRS and some of those challenges. What other challenges are you working on for WISPA on the DC front?
Well, outside of the Spectrum initiatives, we have some open internet things that we are working on to mitigate the potential harms from onerous regulations on small businesses related to privacy protection. We'll be working on outage reporting requirements and trying to minimize those obligations on small companies. We are anxiously looking forward to finalizing rules that will allow our members to participate in a subsidy program called Connect America Fund Phase 2 through a reverse auction process, and we've been making a lot of great strides at the FCC on that. So Spectrum, open internet, and Connect America Fund are kind of the 3 legs of the stool.
Well, that's great. I want to thank both of you for doing the hard work that not too many people would do. And Alex, I know you're a volunteer, and kudos to the hard work that you put in. You've been a board member for many years and now president. Don't know what will happen this year, but if you're president again, good luck.
Thanks.
Your company's also a buy-sells trial operator, and I think
Yes.
you're anxiously awaiting equipment.
Oh, I'm very optimistic. I've been talking with the folks at Buy-Sells for the past couple of years since I think WISPA America
2014.
St. Louis. Yep.
St. Louis?
Yep.
Okay.
And I got a really good feeling from them. It's hard to put into words exactly what I'm thinking, but I felt like they had their head together on this, and then I'm looking forward to getting the equipment and trying it out.
Well, I think you have pretty good character assessment, because I'm sure enjoying my role at Buy-Sells,
Great.
and looking
Great.
forward to a successful trial.
Right.
Thank you guys very much.